Hey Bandidos, Tux here. So we just wrapped up the live stream watch party with the devs. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. You're gonna wanna stick around for this one. The devs open up on changes to Season 2.0 for Seasons 2. Future changes they're working on for upcoming seasons. The holiday event, veteran rewards program, and so much more. We got lots to discuss. You're gonna wanna stick around for this one. Let's get into the details.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
It's a special day in the Division 2 when the devs grace us with a live stream. I say that with all sincerity because it's a rare event. And look, they have revealed a lot during this live stream, and I gotta say, it was one of the best live streams I've seen from these devs. I'm not kidding here, and I'm not gonna overhype this. They shot from the hip and they gave it to us straight. All of the changes based on feedback that we're to expect in the coming future. Now, this comes with good news and this comes with bad news. I'm gonna give you the bad news first. We don't have a timeline for any of these changes. So I'm gonna break them down into two categories. Those that are gonna happen this season sometime and those coming in future seasons. So let's address the elephant in the room, which is also a 400-pound gorilla, modifiers. So I've made a lot of videos about this, including reviews and feedback for the devs. And apparently they heard our cry because from what it seems, Yannick is hitting on every single point that we brought up in our video. If you've been logged out for a while, let me bring you up to speed. Modifiers are basically a new power system, and it is completely altered the way we are approaching builds. Some good, some bad, but mostly good. However, we have modifiers, and so does the enemy. They're called hostile modifiers. Now, these things are bad. Horrible. They're the worst part about this system. When you activate modifiers and you take your first shock and awe from the enemies, you get a horrible first impression. The enemies are equipped with the full power of their modifiers on day one. You start your journey with no modifiers and have to earn and unlock yours. And we know that the AI here in this game is extremely overpowered as it is. Now they got a major advantage. But that shock ammo, basically what happens is it locks you into this permanent status effect or stun lock. You basically get burned to the ground. Now it doesn't happen all the time, but it's really easy for the enemy to shock you out of cover and then keep shocking you, and you can never get out of it because they're just laying into you and shock. It's a horrible experience, and I myself could not believe the system cleared the PTS. How did this get a pass? Was the question that I asked. And this is what's causing major disruption in the community. We are divided. Now, 50% of the community are embracing the modifiers, creating builds around it, and believe it is the way and it's the future. The other 50% are playing without modifiers. And that sucks because the season is completely wrapped around modifiers. A small majority are saying they're not playing with them because they believe the devs are going to walk them back or abandon them. And from the information we've received today, it looks like the devs aren't backing down on modifiers. They're here to stay. Others are saying modifiers aren't for me. I'm leaving this game. I'm done with it. But everybody in the community can probably agree, embrace them or not, the modifiers are not in a good place. You're supposed to be able to turn modifiers off, but group play turns them on by default and there's no real control over them. That's made matchmaking a mess. And then there's bugs. And you can't have bugs in a new system. So there's one bug, for example, where the enemy hostile modifiers, which are supposed to be indicated by an icon over their head, doesn't show up. And so you don't know which enemies have them and which don't. Well, the devs have received this feedback, and this is what's being reported. They are going to make it so that control of activation of modifiers will go to the group leader. They admit right now it's a mess. They already removed modifiers from the raid. They've already added Battle Pass XP to all priority objectives. Here's where things get juicy. Hostile modifiers are getting changes this season. Again, we don't know exactly when, but I can tell you it's not next week. Next week, we are getting a patch, but that's just for the holiday event. So we're at least 2 weeks out for these changes, at least. But I'll let you know when I know. So they're gonna make changes to Requital and Master of None so that they are less punishing. Requital is the hostile modifier where you can kill yourself when shooting an enemy at medium range if they have the requital modifier on them. Master of None is the one where if they shoot you from long range, they have shock ammo. If they shoot you from short range, they have fire ammo. This is not every NPC, it's only those that have that symbol over their head. But they're gonna make these less punishing. That's all we know. That's all we know. We don't have any more details on that, but that's huge. That right there is a W. But here's the big one. There will no longer be shock effect. That is the number one problem with the modifier system, the shock. It's really bad. It's horrible. And they are completely removing out the shock effect per Yannick. And I am ecstatic about that. They're also aware that modifiers are unequipping when you log out of the game and then log back in. They're looking to fix that. Here's what they mentioned about future changes. We're talking next season modifiers. So they're gonna streamline hostile modifiers for next season. The hostile mods will be more like a negotiation of our power-ups. So instead of like punishing us, like it feels like now, what they're gonna do is just negate our power-ups so that we will never be weaker than if we were to be running without modifiers. So the only way is up from there, which I think is a good system. Okay, one thing I have to mention here is that this system was originally designed for seasonal characters who were going to be extremely underpowered. That's why they're so powerful. They also needed the hostile modifiers to be really strong because they're making us ridiculously strong. I mean, this modifier system has completely flipped our build system on its head. They give us so much power, it feels like I'm running around with Golden Bullet all the time. And the question has always been, is the juice worth the squeeze when you get shocked like that? Well, for me, the answer is unfortunately yes, because I've never felt this strong in the Division 2. I'm running a Foundry build, all blue, with all hazard protection, and I am slaying heroic open world content that is full of nothing but elites. But in the future, if they make the hostile modifiers less punishing, does that mean we'll be less strong? Now, I don't have answers for you here, but it is something that I will have my eye on, and it has me thinking. People have been comparing modifiers to directives. Now, they're different, right? Directives are all punishment. So you get less ammo or no ammo, you get cooldowns. There's no real gain to your build for directives, but you get more XP and targeted loot drops. But it makes the game difficult, so you should be rewarded more, right? And that's the parallel to modifiers. The game gets more difficult. It also gets extremely easy. It just depends on your approach, of course. But the developer's vision is that it's the power fantasy that's the reward. That's why you're doing it. And I get that. I do see that. But to encourage more adoption into the modifier system, it is a good idea to put in another reward. They're looking at adding something to it to make it feel more rewarding. Maybe it's a little bit more XP. I don't know. That will be coming in the next season. We're also going to be able to unlock modifiers faster, because one of the problems is that the hostiles get all their modifiers up front and we don't have any up front. We have to unlock them. So we're going to unlock them faster to make that experience better. They're also going to improve the UI and trigger conditions. So ADS is not always required to activate our active modifier. And then they're going to make the benefits last longer. Right now, everything basically defaults to 50 seconds. And then there's conditions like crits or kills that can extend that timer. But somehow they're going to rework that system. They're going to rework the season journey more as well. So they're going to try to give it more purpose. They're investigating a better progression system for group play, so you don't feel like you're being punished for playing in groups by not progressing through your journey system. And they're going to make the journey more about an initiation to the modifiers and less of a tutorial. So right now there were really mundane tasks like go check in with a vendor or something basic like that, but that was meant for new players, so they're going to remove that out. All active and passive modifiers will be in the journey in future seasons. And so they're going to remove them from priority objectives. So right now you get passive modifiers from priority objectives and active modifiers from the journey. Now they're going to consolidate that all to the journey. And I think that will make it less confusing also for new players and a smoother experience and give the journey more purpose. It needs more purpose. And then on top of that, they're going to make the journey less grindy. So right now it is absolutely grindy, right? The further you get into it, the grindier it gets. Mission 7 is OMG. As far as priority objectives go, they're going to make those more generous with the rewards, and they're going to remove the rare objectives, things like the Warhound convoys, as well as remove Descent. Oh, by the way, they are working on the rifle audio issue. They say it's tricky, so he didn't have a lock-in date on that. There's a new winter event, starts on December 10th, and it actually looks pretty cool. There will be 2 tracks, an easy track and a hard track. Basically, the hard track will give you more things like caches and components, but both will give you the new outfit called the Rudy outfit. It's this bad boy. Rudolph the reindeer dude. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I'll support that thing. There are these knee pads called the snow machine. It does some sort of snow effect on the enemy. I did put a video out on the Lexington new assault rifle. That's actually part of something called the Veteran Rewards Program. It has to do for how long you've been playing this game. Everybody gets the Lexington assault rifle, but the skins that come with it depend on how long you've been playing the game. If you've been playing for at least a year, you should get all 3 skins, the gold, the silver, and the bronze. Here's a big W, stash space. Now this comes up in every single live stream that's ever happened. In the last 2 live streams, Yannick has addressed it, but has been real high level, like, you know, maybe. This time he seemed a little bit more motivated about we're looking into that. We have some ideas. Maybe we'll see some new stash space next season. He didn't say anything about the DLC. They said this wasn't the stream for that. Also, the 5x XP is here. They are aware that some people don't get the 5x XP due to some bugs, but it does run all weekend through December 1st, midnight. He did mention that they have some more balancing changes in sight. They feel like a few gear pieces need more improvement and some gear pieces got missed. He said mostly more buffs, including True Patriot. They have their eye on that one, which is awesome because that's a great gear set. I would love for that to be stronger. But this does have me worried about some items that got some really good buffs. He did say mostly more buffs, but that does mean also maybe some nerfs. And the Pestilence has me worried. I'm gonna leave it at that, but I hope we have some really good fallout from the devs on this and we get some timelines. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me today. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
This was another episode of The Division 2. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The Division 2. And if you like builds like this, check out the recommended build video I have here for you. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy. Now maybe this cheapskate can afford to sign me up for that dating app I've had my eyes on.
Follow me.
I get it.